So I said, nobody coaches for free. This is impossible. And my assistant says, you got to listen to this guy. He speaks like you, only without the accent. And I said to him, no, it's impossible. He says, no. He wrote a book called Zero to Diamond. And he wrote another book called List to Last. And I said, wait a minute. I wrote a course called Lead to List. Isn't that weird? So I said, all right, you know what I'm going to do? Since I'm from Brooklyn, I says, and I grew up in the roughest streets of Brooklyn. So, somebody came up to us and said free, we would think they were like killing us at first, So my favorite 4-letter word is free, by the way, not the other 4-letter word, right? So I call him up, and he had his phone number on Instagram. And I said, if you're not full of it, you can call me within 30 seconds of receiving this message. Something along the lines of that. And he calls me up and he says, what's up, bud? And I'm on the phone, I go, and I see Alabama on the thing, I go, and I went, holy crap, you're real. And that began a great friendship with Mr. Ricky Carruth. So I am telling you that from that moment on, I started to implement all of Ricky's techniques and all of his style. It was so easy because you know what I did? I went back to the beginning of my career. And I went back and I started to take all those relationships, all those spheres of influence that are in your phone, and I started to call and just say, hey, what's up? How can I help you today? Is there anything in the world I can do for you, right? And 22 listings later, by implementing Ricky's technique and going back to some old school things that I had learned as an agent, I said, this guy's for real. So I want to bring that for real guy up here. And without further ado, my guy, my friend, my mentor, Ricky Carruth.
Dallas, give me this mic. Give me a mic that works.
Hello.
Testing. Turn it up a little bit for me. What we doing, Dallas? Cool. Hey, number one, if you guys are excited to be here, make some noise. Number two, how many of you want to triple, quadruple, 4X, 5X, 6X your business next year? Cool. Newsflash, okay? 2022 has already started for real estate agents. And if you're not full steam ahead like the new year has already started, then you're way behind on 2022. Okay? August 1st to me is New Year's Day for a real estate agent. Right? July 31st, you should be writing your New Year's resolutions. You should be counting down to midnight, partying, right? Woo, celebrating. And the next day is your January 1st. Okay? We all know that this is a lag business. Okay? You get paid now for what you did 3 to 4 months back. All right. So if you want the most incredible 2022, I see this all the time with agents, year over year. They slow down this time of year. Huge mistake. The worst mistake that you can make. I want to share with you how I stair-stepped my income year over year. I learned this in about 2011, 2012. I realized this because the market would slow down. And I would slow down, because when you're in that mode of just selling, okay, because it's busy and you're just busy selling, and then the sales kind of slow down, you kind of slow down with it and think, oh, take a little break. I've been busy. But that's the wrong way that's not the correct reaction to that moment. Markets go up and down, okay? Let me teach you something about markets. When the market slows down, that means that there's pent up demand building. And there's going to be an explosion soon. And if it's really busy, what does that mean? That it's going to go the other way. It's always going to do this. Okay, it's never going to just do this forever. And so what I realized working through a year is that there's a busy time in the year and there's a slow time in the year. Okay, I don't know what that is for you guys in Dallas. It doesn't really matter because every year is different as well. Okay, it's not about necessarily saying, okay, August 1st It's also about filling the market, right? When the market starts to die a little bit, which can you guys agree that the market has slowed down just a tad from, say, 6 months ago? Okay, and it's continued to get a little slower and a little slower. Okay, but a lot of people aren't taking advantage of the moment, of this slow moment, and before you know it, it's going to be busy again, and you did nothing to try to raise your business. And when I say raise your business, I mean add people to your database. When it slows down, you have time to make the calls. When it's busy, you don't have time to make the calls. So this is the way I've stair-stepped my income, made more and more and more every year, okay? When it starts to slow down, I feel that, and I say, I'm going to get on the phone and try to increase the number in my database between now and the next busy season. That way, when I go into the next season, I've got a larger database, which means what? More people in my market who know me and like me, knows I'm here to help and want to do business with me. And so if I have more people in my database, when I go into the new selling season, I'm going to sell more property. It's simple math. So if you think about a year and the cycles of sales throughout a year, I want you to really think about it. You don't do the same stuff all year, okay? When you're busy, you can't really make calls. You can a little bit here and there, but not like you really want to. Take advantage when it slows down, and you'll stair-step your income every year. The agents that make the same amount of money every year, okay? Number one, they're not taking advantage of those slow moments in the market. They're using that slow moment to take a break, and their income will show that. Okay. Also, the people who, get their income up to 150 every year, it's because they built their database up to the 150 and then quit building the database. They thought, I got it. I don't have to do this anymore. Right? Wrong attitude. You have to build your database up to the point that you're making the income you want to make, then you can live off your database and plateau at that level where you want to be. Does this make sense? Make some noise if it makes sense. So that's the first message I just wanted to get into your mind immediately, is that 2022 has already started. And a lot of you are way behind. But that's okay, because you can start right now today, from now to the end of the year. Give it everything you got, because this is 2022. Please, I want to see you crush it. I want to see you crush it. I want to see you crush it. I don't want you to go into 2022 with less business than you could have, even though you have the skills and ability to create more business. You're not taking advantage of the market, the opportunity the market's handing you on a silver platter. Oh, you don't have time to make calls? Here, let me slow down a little bit so you can. And you're not making the calls. Please. My thesis, and always really has been and always will be, because I want to see you guys build a predictable business, and I don't want you to feel stressed out. My thing is, please don't be stressed out. There's nothing to worry about. You got this. Okay? But the thesis is, closings have happened every day for your entire life by the truckloads, and will happen every day for the rest of your life by the truckloads forever, regardless of the market conditions. That's my thesis to the market and to agents. When you realize this, it opens up so much capacity there of things that put you in a place where, you know what? I can relax. I don't have to try so hard to convert this lead that's not going to convert. There's unlimited amount of prospects, guys. Quit trying to bang your head against this one that's not doing anything. By the way, banging your head against that one is going to make that one run away. And when they do decide to buy or sell something in 6 months, you're not going to be the one they called, because you were just trying to do a deal. And now what? You lose the 10 to 20 deals that prospect turns into over time. It's not just that deal. It's over transactions, not the other way. Why do closings continue to happen every day, no matter what? I'll tell you why. It's because the market, just like the market adjusts in your favor to allow you to make calls. Too busy to make calls? Let me slow down. Let me let you make some calls. Just like the market adjusts in your favor in that capacity, it also adjusts your favor in this capacity. When the market crashes, what happens? Prices adjust to a level that buyers are still willing to buy. Supply and demand, what does that mean? Buyers are still willing to buy during those times. They're still buying like crazy. And the lower the price goes, the more interested they are. Please don't walk into this industry and this career thinking markets crashing are bad for us. Yeah, we don't want them to happen. We know a lot of people may lose their home and there's a lot of bad things that happen, but can we help it? No, it's Mother Nature. So what can we do? We have to understand that doesn't affect us and the amount of business that we can do, especially if we're taking the moments in the market that the market gives us the opportunities to grow our database and take advantage of it. As long as you're continuing to add people to your database in your market, one-on-one conversations, if you had the opportunity to do business with me, would you do it? Raise your hand. Just about everybody. Would anybody not do business with me? Let's do like that. Okay. Now, raise your hand if I've ever charged you a dime. Almost. Guys, it's the law of attraction, right? It's the law of attraction. It's bringing value to other people, okay? I don't want you guys to walk into this industry thinking that there's no way you can lose. Please understand, there's no way you can lose. The market can't control your success. You know, if you lose this listing or lose a couple deals, or there's nothing that can bring you down except for you, that you're not going to do what you need to do to grow your database. How did I create the scenario where everyone here would do business with me, but however, I've never charged any of you a dime? I'll answer that. It's because I have, in some form or fashion, connected with or even communicated with each and every one of you individually, either responding to a comment, DM, on the phone, email, so on and so forth, okay? And through that one-on-one individual conversation and communication, you realize that I was actually genuine. And then we were connected at that point, okay? Then what did I do? Continue to build my brand off that great first impression that I'm a real genuine person through email and social media and text message and everything else that I do. Right? You got to do the same thing in your local markets. Talking to as many people on an individual basis as possible, letting them know how real you are. And then once that great first impression is created, boom, they enter into your database and you build your brand from there. And they never forget that great first impression. And then you accumulate as many people as you can. But you know what? We're trying to skip that first part of the one-on-one conversation. And so when they see your advertisements and they see all your stuff, they don't really know you. They can watch a video, and I love video, and I think it's a great way to build your brand. And it creates a warmer situation, right? Once you do talk to them. And there's a lot of different scenarios, okay? A lot of different scenarios. But I'm not going to sit around and wait on people to call me or wait on people to reach out to me. Put some advertising out there and hope for the best. I got to go. I got a wife. I got a daughter. I got to do as well as I can do right this second, not invest and hope, right? So the entire thesis for me, for you guys, is to understand that this business is completely predictable. When the market shut down last year, I knew that there was going to be one of the largest real estate surges that we've ever seen. There's a video on YouTube that I put out last March or April, mid-April, okay, during the complete economic shutdown that says, we're fixing to have the largest real estate surge we ever saw. May 1st happened, the economy opened back up partially, and what happened? We saw the largest real estate surge we've ever seen. And it has just started to cool off. All this stuff was very predicted. The market cooling off right now, super predicted. The fact that it's going to be possibly a slow winter, very predictable. The fact that we're going to have probably one of the strongest springs we've ever seen, super predictable. And even if it doesn't happen, we still win. Why? Because if it goes the other way, prices are lower. Who wants property for 20, 30% off? How hard would that be to sell? Let's talk about inventory being low, people working with buyers, agents working with buyers, buyers who are competing with 15 other buyers during that time, complaining, have to write 10 offers just to get one accepted if I do. Now the market inventory is coming up, and those same agents are saying, oh, God, it's slow. Something's got to give, right? Something has to give. And you know what has to give? 2022. Make some noise. All right. So closings happening every day, right? Businesses unlimited. I didn't know any of that stuff. I'll tell you how I figured it out. In 2002, I got in real estate, 20 years old. Okay, made a meal before I'm 23. Literally thought I was the real estate gangster. But the problem was, and I'm the same person as I was back then, but I was missing two things. One, I was building my business on money, not people during that time. And the second thing was experience. I don't care how many videos you watch or YouTubes or podcasts or books you read, until you get out there and put experience behind that knowledge and understand some pitfalls and some problems and some different scenarios that's going to happen and how to avoid that stuff and be able to foresee those problems coming up, you're not going to succeed at the level that you want. There's two types of education. There's the seminars and books and all the stuff you can figure out right then. And then there's experience that you've got to learn from. And you got to have both if you're going to be way at the top. And that's what I was missing. I didn't have that part. So I was unable to foresee what was about to happen as the market was exploding. Now, looking back, I should have known as the market was exploding, there was fixing to be a huge crash. I didn't see it coming because I didn't know, because I wasn't experienced enough. So I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, thinking this is never going to end. And it did end. And I lost it all. All them eggs, gone. And I'm bankrupt, and I'm sleeping on friends' couches, and I'm eating out of people's refrigerator, and I'm sleeping in my car, and I'm roofing houses, I'm working on an oil rig, and I'm, right? During that time, I think, this is amazing. Guys that were 40 and 50 and 60 years old were going through the same thing I was going through. And I thought, I'm in my mid-20s, thank God. Because I knew whatever I was going to learn during that time was going to take me to places I never dreamed. I got to be honest right now, I never even thought I'd come to the place I am right this second. But it all came from what I learned during that moment, right? And from then, for the 15 years since, I've just done nothing but work to a place that would never happen to me ever again. And then when I finally got there, I'm like, I got to give back and make sure some of you guys, hopefully, can understand what I'm saying. Because if I would have had a Ricky Caruth tell me what I'm telling you guys right now when I was a new agent, I'd be thinking my lucky stars. Nobody told me any of this stuff. I was living in la la land. Nobody says any of this stuff. I read 100 books. I get back in the business, 2008. From 2008 to 2014, I'm working 15 hours a day to try to figure this thing out. Boom, I sell 100 deals. Number one Remax agent in the state of Alabama. And look at the timeline. Get in the business, make it, lose it, come back in. And after learning everything I learned, still took me 6 years of 15 hours a day to get to 100 deals a year. And a lot of you guys, 3 months in, are complaining about closing 2 deals. I'm like, it took me 8 months to get to my first deal. You are crushing it. They don't see it. A lot of people don't see it. A lot of you new agents that are in the room right now are doing amazing, selling 5 properties your first year, 10, 15, 20 properties your first year. And you're down on yourself about it. And I like that because you're trying to be more, and you're trying to succeed at a higher level, and you're pushing yourself and you push yourself and you push yourself. So I get that. But what I want to do is I want to bring it back just a little bit. Not all the way, just a little bit and take a step back and realize 90% of people don't make it in this business. You are one of the 10%, 1 out of 10, who make it. Let's just start there. Please, let's start there, right? Now, what do you got in your first year? You got the foundation of learning how to communicate, learning how to write a contract, learning how to go through a transaction, going to a listing appointment, showing property, learning MLS. You did some deals, you made a little money, you paid some taxes. You understand the process. You know how many millions of dollars that's worth to you? And all you're doing is looking at the $35,000 you made that year. You just made millions. You're setting yourself up to make millions. Even if you sold one property your first year. A lot of agents get in the business and their expectations are they're going to do this for 30 years and they quit after 6 months. I don't care if it takes you 3 years to figure this business out and get to your first deal. You still got 27 years to crush it. Who cares that it takes 6 months, a year and a half? I don't care. Are you worried about what other people think when they say that you've been in the business that long and you haven't sold anything? Who cares about that? Guys, you can't care. That's going to be my motto for today, okay? You can't care. You can't care about stuff like that. There's things to care about, but most things are not to care about. Most of the things you think you need to care about, you don't need to care about them. Hit the 100 deals, sold 100 deals every year since. And then I started writing books, coaching for free, speaking, writing, social media, all that good stuff, right? And the biggest lessons I learned was that closings happen every day. My clients that I sold to when I was in the business, when I was working on the oil rig, I looked at MLS and the county records and realized they were still buying and selling at the bottom, selling their bad assets and buying new assets with a different real estate agent. I thought, really? Then I took a little deeper look and I started to think about it and I started to realize closings happen every day. Business is unlimited. And then I started thinking, all these agents I was worried about being my competition are non-existent. When you build your business on people and building relationships, it's like trying to drink the Gulf. That's how massive this industry is. And that's how unlimited business is for each and every one of you. It's like trying to drink the ocean. You'll never get to the bottom. It'll never happen. You can work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 for the rest of your life and never even scratch the surface. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Let's make some noise. Let's get loud. Let's get real loud. Let's get louder. Let's get louder. Real loud. Real loud. Real loud. 4 things I want you guys to do in 2022. First thing is I want you to start listening to your prospects. Stop trying to close the prospects. How many people watched the live calls I did yesterday on YouTube? Young man named Joshua out of Nebraska. Incredible young man. Very incredible young man. Has an incredible tone. He has done really well on YouTube. And this is a little side note. This guy, because a lot of new agents say, how do I get going? What videos do I do? How do I get going on social media and everything? This guy did the exact playbook. He's documenting being a new agent, right? He's documenting being a new agent. He's only had 1 sale so far. He's documenting being a new agent. And guess what? He had one video on YouTube that had 200,000 views, several others that had 10 and 15 and 20,000 views. And he's got 13,000 subscribers after, a couple months. All right. Let that be a lesson to new agents who are thinking, well, what do I do for content? Document being a new agent. Everybody loves to see the underdog win. If they see that you're a new agent, a lot of people are scared. They don't want people to know they're a new agent. Nah, it's actually a good idea to let people know that, because then people start tuning in and say, well, let's see I like this guy, how he's talking. I like this lady, this girl, this guy. Well, whatever they're saying really connects. And now they're kind of emotionally attached. They start following. And then over the next 6 months, they see you start selling a few things, right? And over the next year, right? And now they've been with you through the whole journey. Instead of waiting till you're selling stuff and then just posting that you sold stuff, why don't you tell a story? And that's what this guy did. But back to the calls, the script that he was using was very surface level, right? And it was only it was come for sale by owners, and it was only trying to figure out how to get the listing, basically, right? You guys can go watch it and kind of understand. It was scripty, but that's okay because he's new. I'm not worried about it sounding scripty. That's fine. But it was very surface. There was no depth to it. And as I was listening to the calls, I said, man, listen, first thing you need to do, that you should have done on that call, is find out why they're selling. Find out why they're selling, and then start to talk to them about that reason why they're selling, and start to relate to why they're selling, right? He wasn't doing that. And by the end of the call session, he was doing that, and he was doing it very well, and he was connecting with people a lot better. And actually, that made his tone a lot better too, because he was kind of just having a real conversation. Somewhere, one of the last few calls, there was a gentleman, and he had a property, and he said, Joshua was asking him about it, and he said that it was a fix and flip. So Joshua, he's just trying to figure out how to set that appointment, and the normal mainstream training and coaching, the guys that charge you stuff and give you these scripts from 1980s that you need to just wad in a garbage can and burn. He was going after that. And after the call, I said, man, you weren't listening to him. He's saying he does fix and flips. You should have asked him, hey, do you do this all the time? Do you buy and sell? Do you buy and fix up houses and sell? I'd like to help you find some houses. He wasn't even thinking about that. You guys got to listen to your prospects and open up your eyes, right? We're talking to humans. We're not talking to a for sale by owner, a geo lead, an expired, a buyer lead that might buy this house. We're talking to a human that's probably not going to buy that house. And we want to get to know them to see what they do, what they are going to do, but more importantly, connect with them and make a friend with them. NAR did a study, and the study came back with the number one reason why people choose their real estate agent, right? And this was overwhelming, was that they had a friend in the business with a good reputation. They had a friend in the business with a good reputation. That was overwhelming. It was like 32%. All the rest of the reasons was like 1 and 2%. 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1.5. This was the overwhelming top reason. Okay. What does that tell us? It tells me that your number one objective every day needs to be to make as many friends in the market as humanly possible. That's the goal. That's the goal. Not listing appointments, not closings, not listings. How many friends can I make in the market? Because I promise you, if you're out there making friends, you're going to be closing deals. Because what? Closings happen every day. So if you're in the market circulating and you're letting as many people know who you are, what you do, and you're here to help, you're going to run into people that A, want to do stuff later. And then what? You're going to build your brand with those people. But then B, want to do something right now. So now what happens? You're building your business for now and the future all at the same time, in the same action. A lot of people look at cold calls. Look, for me, making cold calls, I'm trying to make cold calls to get my name out there enough to where I don't have to make cold calls anymore. That's what a lot of people don't realize. You don't make cold calls forever. You don't buy leads forever, right? Whatever the source of the avenue of lead generation that you so choose, in theory, you're not going to do it forever. You're going to do it till you have the database in place, unless you're not building a database, right? Unless you don't have a system to build your brand with people once they come into your ecosystem. That's why I love the weekly email. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming by. Just kidding. But you know what making friends comes from? Listening. I just want you to take a step back, get off the scripts. I want you to talk to people like they're a human. I want you to talk to people like they're your family, right? And I want you to listen to them. And when you go deeper and deeper and deeper and find out why they're trying to do what they're trying to do, then you connect on such a level that and they've never had an agent that do that before. They view you as this god of real estate at that point. And they put you on such a pedestal that they think in their mind, I'll never use another agent. Especially once they do the deal with you and see how above and beyond you go for your clients, then they'll never, that's the best closing gift you can give a client, is incredible service during the deal, through the whole deal, and before the deal and after the deal, but incredible service, not a knife with your name on it. Service. When they know that you made the deal go smooth, when they decide to do another deal, they're going to think twice. They're going to say, I don't even know if I want to risk not having that kind of experience again. That was smooth. And that's what you want. So please, guys, listen to your prospects more in 2022. And when did 2022 start? A long time ago. But it starts right now. The second thing I want you guys to do more of in 2022 is eliminate all your fears. You guys trip me out with the stuff you tell me you're scared of. And I say, why are you scared of that? And you say, I don't know. You trip me out. Guys, what is so scary about anything in real estate? Anything. It's just talking to people, paperwork, computer, driving to houses. Where did a alligator jump out and bite somebody, or somebody get punched, or I'm at a loss. I understand being a little nervous about making calls for the first time, or doing something for the first time or whatever. But when you do that simple little thing for the first time, you should know right in and there, it ain't nothing. The amount of people in this room who try to avoid making calls by spending thousands of dollars on leads just to turn right around and call them scares the hell out of me. Scares the hell out of me. The amount of money that you guys spend on leads so you don't have to make calls, just turn right around and call them. It's nuts. It blows my mind. So, how can I put this? Listen, I'll tell you what it is. When you come up against something that you're kind of scared of, okay, you need to do it right then. Because the longer you wait, the bigger that fear gets. It just grows and grows and grows. And then what? Whatever the reason was that you were scared, which you say you don't know what it is, but whatever that reason is, you start to believe it more and more and more. Just go, guys. 2022, no fear. Okay? If you run up against something that scares you even in the slightest, listen, if there's something about the business that scares you whatsoever, if you don't right this second, just a snap of a finger, not be scared of that anymore because there's nothing to be scared of. If you do not do that, right, sometime soon, there's a good chance you might be on that 90 percentile of the statistics of agents that don't make it in this business. Remember, 90% don't make it. So if you're scared of something in the business, what side of that statistic do you think you're going to be on? Anybody scared of anything in here as far as real estate goes? Come on, guys. Don't be scared. What's that?
Having a friend that you're helping with real estate. Some way they find something.
Oh, like helping like a friend or family buy a house? That's okay. Like the problems that they run into, that they get mad at you about or whatever, isn't your fault. It's not your fault. Listen, guys, contracts were set up for kindergartners. It's fill in the blank. Here's the name. Here's who's buying it. Here's the price. We're going to pay cash. We're going to get an inspection. We're going to close to this date. This is how much earnest money we're going to put up. It's set up for a kindergartner, right? In this business, you can put everything on somebody else. The seller says, I don't like that price. I'm going to price it at this price, a lot higher price. Okay, Mr. Seller, fine. But here's the consequences. Probably not going to get showings, and I'm going to vote that it's not going to sell. You still want to do it? Yeah, he does. Cool. Well, let's go. But that's on him. That's on him at that point, not me. That was his decision. Put it back on somebody else. Scenario, hypothetical. Somebody put something under contract, right? We're the listing agent. And, put it under contract, and the buyer agent calls and says, the buyers want to go back and look at it for a second time, the next day. And the seller says, Can they still back out? No, I don't want them to go over there. Okay, Mr. Seller, look. There's a chance if you don't let them go back over there that the deal's going to fall through. You okay with that risk? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Cool. Boom. It's his decision. You're negotiating. You're asking $700. You get a $690 cash offer. Great offer. The last one sold for $675. This is like euphoria. Seller says, I want to go back at $695. Meet him in the middle. Okay, Mr. Seller, listen, here's the consequences. I'm okay with that as long as you're okay with the possibility that we might lose this deal over that. As long as you're okay with that risk, then I'm cool with it too. Let's go. And then it's their decision. If they decide to go back at $695, I'm going to write it up and send it to the agent and say, here's our counteroffer. And I'm going to represent him the way that he wants to be represented. But he made that decision, not me. My job with friends and family and everyone is to let people know what the consequences are of their decisions and then put it in their court. I'm not going to be responsible for this. Right? Anybody else? One more. Scared. He's scared. Real scared. I can tell you scared. You're trembling.
Fear of public speaking and doing video, sounding and looking stupid.
Here's the cool thing. Nobody's going to come to your speeches yet. No, I understand, but here's the second part, though. Nobody's watching your videos either. No, and I'm going somewhere with this. The fact is that when you have a small following, you can make as many videos as you want and get your little 2, 3, 4, 20, 40 views, 100 views, whatever, all you want to, right? But keep making videos, because in your mind, if you're trying to grow to 1,000 views a video or 2,000 views a video or whatever you're trying to do, that's a long time down the road for you to build that audience up to the point where you'll have that many views. And by that time, you'll have so much practice that the audience at that time that's seen it, the 1,000 people that see it later are going to see a great video because you practiced up to that point. Go back and look at my videos. Woo! Right? So nobody's watching your videos yet. But if you start making them and putting the time in to try to get better and better and better, show your personality, whatever the case may be, to make them better and better. See, people want you. That's one thing people don't understand, or the agents don't understand. It's not like the editing and the lighting and the background and the audio. That's not it. It's you. It's your personality. It's your energy, right? That's what draws them in. I mean, you guys have seen plenty of videos that are blurry, that horrible editing, but goes viral, right? Because it's interesting or whatever the case may be. So, just start making videos, right? But making a video, like making it, clicking, post or whatever, that's scary, just to do your finger like that. I know what you mean, though. But look, at the end of the day, nobody's going to punch you. They're going to come find you. Guys, there's nothing to be scared of, okay? I want you to ease your fears. Okay? I want you to understand that you can't lose in this business. There's nothing to be scared of. All right? And we need to start listening to our clients. Just listen to them about things that might be happening outside of the deal that you're trying to do right then. That's where all the magic happens. That's where all the magic happens. The third thing I want you guys to do in 2022 is eliminate all Your excuses. There are legitimate excuses, right? Life-threatening, personal, family, right? But outside of that, you guys can't tell me an excuse that makes sense to me. I'd like to hear some. Does anybody have a good excuse? Okay, we'll just pass right over this if you guys are just excuseless. Now, listen, guys, go ahead.
The excuse of I don't have enough time, because I see the way you do it, and I'd love to see your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar, because I have no idea how you cram so much in the same 24 hours that I have.
You know what the difference is, right? How long you been in the business?
4 years.
Okay. I've been in business for 20 years. Okay. So what you have to understand is that for 15 hours a day for 15 years, all I did was real estate. And I built my business to the point where I could rely on a weekly email to close 100 deals a year. I don't have to prospect. I don't have to chase. I don't have to follow up. I don't do anything. Right. And so I built the machine. Then I decided to write a book. And that's all I did. Weekly email, close deals, write a book. I didn't do all this stuff at once, right? Then I'm going to do a website and create a coaching program and start doing social media. When I did social media, I did them one at a time. I did Facebook first. I worked on it for 3 months to figure it out. Once I got it kind of figured out, then I did Instagram for a while. Then I did YouTube. I did it in stages. So what you guys don't realize about what I do is that it's all been in stages. And until I complete this stage, I'm not moving to the next stage. And every stage that I complete is just getting stacked on top of the old stages. And that's why it looks like I'm this crazy, Tasmanian devil with all the stuff. But you guys don't understand how much time I put in to get it to that point. It doesn't happen overnight. That's the only difference. That's a good one. Now, people tell me stuff about I'm a new agent. That's a big excuse, right? I'm not tech savvy. This, that, and the other. I'm tired of hearing it. I mean, keep DMing me, but keep DMing me the problems and stuff. Let me help you through that stuff. But still, I enjoy talking to people through those same issues and stuff. It's I get off on that. But at the same time, guys, listen, it's just like Joshua Irabu, YouTuber. He sold one property. He's got 13,000 YouTube subscribers now because he's documenting his journey of being a new agent. There's no excuses. Well, I said it in Miami. When a seller asks you how many properties you sold, you look at him right in his eye and you tell him none. And that's why you want to work with me, because I'm going to spend every waking hour on your deal. If you want Mr. 100 deal a year, Ricky, go down the street, go in his office, look at him right in the eye, and ask him if your deal is going to be at the very top of his priority list. He can't say it will be because he has 100 deals a year happening. But not me. I'm going to take your deal, and your deal is going to be the only deal that I'm working 8 hours a day, and I'm going to work harder than any agent you've ever met. Being a new agent is a huge advantage because you've got time. You've got time that other people don't have. Take advantage of that. There's always an advantage point with whatever stage that you're in. And whatever your excuse is, there's actually an advantage point within your excuse that makes you kind of an unstoppable force. So if you have an excuse or something holding you back, right? If you have an excuse or something holding you back, just DM me on Instagram. Just DM it to me. And let me tell you, based on what your excuse is, glad you could join us. What your excuse is, what the advantage point is within that excuse. And the fourth thing I want you guys to do in 2022, go ahead, guys.
One that I've heard people say is that they don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
No guarantee that putting the work in will pay off.
Oh, man. Where do I begin, bro? So, number one, nothing has to cost any money, right? Because I can call for sale by owners off of forsalebyowner.com and door knock and go meet people at, Greer's and Publix, right? That didn't cost anything. Leads are human beings in the market. Leads aren't something that I paid $300 for on Zillow. Lead is any human being in the market, period. And I can go talk to as many human beings as I want for nothing if I want to. Now, can I spend a couple $100s a month and sit in the comfort of my own office and auto dial hundreds of them at a time? Yep. And is that the most incredible thing that ever happened to real estate agents in the history of the industry? Yep. But if I don't have a couple $100, right, I can go do it for free. That's number one. Number two, whoever told you that, right? Let's just say you're asking for a friend type deal. Your friend, right? Your friend should have a job making money to pay his bills until he gets some momentum in his real estate game. And he can get momentum for free if he has to, if you have to. I mean, if you can scrape up a couple $100s and call people from the comfort of your own office hundreds at a time, and hack the system, then that's going to be the path of the least resistance. But hey, if you don't have any money, you don't have any money. That ain't going to stop me. And it better not stop you. You better DM me and tell me about it. Yeah.
On the note of not having enough time and having to have another job, one excuse that I find is how do you make the time when you have to still navigate with your 9 to 5?
Are you off on the weekends? Or again, your friend? Are you off on the weekends?
Yeah.
Are you making like a 5-hour call session every Saturday? What do you do every Saturday between 9 and 1? There's the problem, my guy. You're talking about, I don't know how to manage my time, and I don't know how to, get around this 9 to 5 thing, and here we're on your day off, and you don't even know what you're doing. Make some noise. All my part-time agents, bro. All my part-time agents, I tell them, make your 4 to 5 hour call session every Saturday. That's mandatory. If you make call sessions during the week, bonus. If you squeeze one in here and there, bonus. But that 9 to 12, 9 to 1, whatever, on Saturdays is non-negotiable. If you want to be a real estate agent when you grow up, my strategy, guys, is very simple. Super simple. It's got to be simple. The more simple you make things, the higher, people that aren't successful make things super complicated. Have you guys noticed this? Like, are you guys some of these people? Make things super complicated, and there's always a roadblock, and you can't quite get around it, and it's just a complicated situation every time you turn around, right? Those are going to be your less successful people. And the people that make things very extremely simple and make it seem simple, those are going to be your higher successful people. My process and my strategy as a real estate agent is very simple. I want to talk to as many property owners as I can just to make friends, not to sell them. And I want to create 5 of those friends every day. And I want to collect that data. And I want to create those great first impressions. And on the back of those great first impressions, I want to build my brand through email, a weekly email on the same day of the week forever, and social media. Boom. Now, if you created 5 new friends with property owners every day, 5 days a week, okay, understand the simple math. 5 a day, 25 in a week, 100 in a month, 1,200 in a year, 24, 36, 48. In 4 years, let's call it $5,000, 5,000 property owners that you talk to, not Zillow leads that never called you back, not Facebook leads that put in a false information. People you talk to that verbally gave you their data to stay in touch with them till the day they wanted to buy or sell something. Okay, after 4 years and you have 5,000 property owners in your database receiving a weekly email on the same day of the week forever, how big is your business at that point? I'll tell you. You're the number 1 agent in your market. Simple math. Real simple math. So tell me this. Instead of, Because again, all lead generation avenues come right back to the same thing, conversation. Conversation is the key to all closings. It's the nucleus. Here's conversations, here's the nucleus, and here's everything else. Facebook, Zillow, open houses, cold calling, geo leads, expires, for sale by owners, sphere of influence, past clients. They're all on the outer edge, but they all have to come to this point before a deal is initiated. Understand? Conversation is the nucleus. So if that's the fact of the matter, which it is, why not? I'm just going to sit here and have as many conversations as I can have right now. I'm not going to sit around and do all this other stuff. I'm not going to have open houses and wait on people to come in. Just give me everybody's phone number. Let me start calling. Let me go ahead and have these conversations and put these conversations behind me so I can close as many deals as I want to close. If conversation is the key to all closings and you want to have as many closings as you can possibly have, then all you got to do is have as many conversations as you can possibly have. Period. Simple math. So if there's a process out there, whereas I can collect any property owner that I want, contact information, for 2 cents, I pick the property, 2 cents, here's their phone number and their information. If there's a process out there like that, and I can collect as many property owners that I want to do business with as I can, call them, 2 cents a piece, just to make friends, followed by a weekly email on the same day of the week forever. If anybody here can tell me a better strategy for real estate agents than that, please let me know right now. I'm going to say it again. If I can get property owners that I want to do business with at an unlimited rate for 2 cents a piece, to call them up just to make friends, followed by a weekly email on the same day of the week forever, sprinkle some social media in there. Is there a better strategy than that, right? Is Zillow better than that? Is Facebook better than that? Is open houses better than that? Anything, please. Because as soon as somebody tells me something, because I ask every audience, then I'm going to start preaching that, whatever it is. No one's ever even debated me on this. So my question to you is, why aren't you doing what I just said? Now, I don't know what you are doing, right? You know what you're doing. You're thinking about it right now. You're like, dang, he's right. But think about how much money you could save if you didn't do all that other stuff and you just bought property owners' information for 2 cents a piece and called them up just to make friends, followed by a weekly what? Email that costs hardly nothing? Yeah, do some social media, do all this other stuff. What I'd love you guys to do is make calls from 9 to 12 every day if you're full time, and then post on every platform in the afternoon. Make videos, do podcasts, do SEO. Make calls all morning and do marketing all evening, afternoon. What's your daily routine? There it is right there. That's the daily routine of a high-producing real estate agent. Now, the day's going to come where you don't have to make calls anymore. And you can just rely on the weekly email and some of these other things to continue that momentum. But I want you to go back to the first of this speech. Take advantage of the seasons in the market. Take that opportunity to grow your database during those times. In your seats, you've got a Red X discount. That's a deep, deep discount. That's $150 off, waiving the setup fee, and another 30% for life on that package. That's property owners, that's expireds, and that's a power dialer. Expireds, when you get that, I want you to go back 3 years worth and have 3 years worth sitting in your folder that you can just peck away at. I want you to diversify who you're calling on a daily basis. Monday, do geo. Tuesday, do new expireds. Wednesday, do old expireds. Thursday, do past clients. Follow up on Friday. Whatever. Mix it up. Don't just do geo forever. Don't just do expireds forever. Mix it up. If you get online leads, take a day to call those. Whatever. Stay on the phone. Because remember, conversation is the nucleus of the closing. Without that, there's nothing. Whatever the physics word is for that. I want to give away some books. I've got a couple here I'll sign, and also I'm going to mail you guys some signed copies as well for your chance to win that. And I want to send you my 90-day action plan if you haven't already gotten that. You're going to text me at this number right this second. (251) 312 8844. 251 312 8844. Put your information in my contacts there, and I'm going to pick some book winners. I've got 4 of them I'm going to give away right this second. And also you'll get my 90-day action plan, whatever. Right? I answer every single message on Instagram. Has anyone here ever messaged me on Instagram and not gotten a message back? Okay. I want to take 2 questions before I end the session here, if you guys have any. Do we have a mic runner? Does the mic work? Does it work? Oh, that's just for video. It's all good. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
So we're a pretty established team. We have lots of people in our current database. We've been buying leads for a long time.
Yeah.
With that purchase, we use a program that, of course, stores it. I attempted to use your service, your system, and when I put the database, our current database, and we have probably 7,000 people in here right now, and when we try to use the email system, we got an overwhelming number of unsubscribes.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah.
Every time I send an email, it basically shut me down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's the process to weed out? There's still probably, everybody who we captured are people who gave us information. So it's not cold call. You know, it may have been 5 years ago, but because they may not remember that, again, the email kept shutting me down and I had to just bail on the system basically.
Yeah. So these were buyer leads.
Buyer and seller.
You can leave them with the mic in case there's further conversation. Buyer and seller leads, 7,000, right?
Right.
I mean, like for me, so constant contacts,
Right.
and they shut you down.
Yes, because it was.
See, the thing is when you open up an account, they're watching you there in the beginning. And if you throw too many people in there, they'll red flag you and they'll take you out because they're scared that these are people that you don't have permission to email, right?
Right.
So that's where the problem was. When you have these large databases like this and you start a constant contact or MailChimp or any of these services, you've got to trickle those in there, like 100 a day or something for a little bit and see what happens, right? And then maybe bump it up to 200 a day for a little bit to see what happens and kind of tweak around with put them in there, in small batches.
Okay.
Right. That's the way you have to do that part of it. As far as them unsubscribing and acting all crazy and stuff, that might be one of those scenarios where you need to sit down and plug all those people into the RedX power dialer and call them all before you enter them in. I would do both, right? If it were me, I would have done it in small batches, which you didn't know this at the time, right?
Right.
You thought you could just upload everybody. I would have done it in small batches, but at the same time, I would have had somebody on my team, power dialing through, until we called all of them just to touch base, tell them who we are, remember us, hi, and all that good stuff, and rekindle the connection, right? And let them know, hey, we're going to send you some emails and stuff. We want to do business with you. We care about you.
It was something new because, of course, we've been just basically automatically sending them homes by text and email from our email. So this new thing, I think, was maybe they didn't know it was us, but again, it shut us down.
Yeah.
I had to stop. it.
Yeah. You definitely got in that situation where you can't do anything with it. I mean, when they shut you down, they shut you down. You can start a second account and just start all over with a second email address.
Yeah.
No, seriously, you can start a second account and then get a second run at it. Take the same list, trickle them in there this time, do it the right way. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
What do you do for your weekly content?
There's this incredible website. There's this really awesome website. It's ZEROTO. Diamond, 02 Diamond. If you go to zeroToDiamond.com/weekly email, right? That really breaks down a lot of stuff. But look, man, and this goes back to the gentleman behind you with sending people stuff. What wins as far as content and social media? And listen, email is a social media platform. Understand, this is a media outlet where people are checking, like they're checking emails. It's the same thing as scrolling through a feed, right? It's the same thing. And as you send an email, it's basically you posting. Is there a wall where people can see the emails you post? No. So not the same platform, but it's the same thing. So you need to treat it like a social media. And for social media, email, all these different platforms, originality, right? It's got to be original, consistent content, right? And how do we stand out? By giving your opinions on stuff. It's not like, here's a house that sold, or here's the local statistics. It's like, here's the local statistics, and here's what I think about it. When you start adding your 2 cents, when you start adding your opinions on stuff, that's when people start to really tune in. And now they feel like they're getting great information, like breaking news, and getting to know you at the same time. So as far as content goes, bro, I could do 2 emails a day to my database, right? Because there's new listings every second. Kinda, I guess. There's a lot of there's new listings all the time, right? And there's closed deals all the time. There's pending deals all the time. There's a constant flow of new market information every hour, that you could be tapping into. So like for you guys can look at my weekly email. It's right there. But I always have a link that goes to all the new listings every week. That link goes back 2 weeks worth of new listings. In case somebody missed the last week or whatever, this or that, it goes back 2 weeks for condos and homes. People can search property. So some people open up my email because they want to see that incredible big picture when they first open it up. Some people just want to see see the beach. Some people open up because they want to stay in tune with the new listings. So they go straight to that and click there. Some people want to check on their complex or their subdivision, see if there's any new listings in there. So what you want to do is you want to create a scenario where you cater to all these different types of people who are looking for these different information, but put it in a very simple format that's easy to read and quick to get to. The problem is people writing these novels or copying and pasting these novel articles that make your eyes hurt when you look at it. And like most of the time, it's like how to cook shrimp etouffee, or like, what color to paint your walls in the fall. If I don't learn how to cook something, I'll Google it. I don't need a real estate agent to tell me how to cook. I mean, they sell my houses, not cook stuff. But there's so much information, right? So like you could do this. This is good for beginners when you're doing this. There's 4 weeks in a month. So you could rotate out these weeks. Week 1 could be listing of the month. You could have event of the month. You could have like an article of the month. You could have restaurant of the month. Right? You can come up with 4 things that you want to, showcase as like, here's the listing of the month or restaurant of the month or whatever. And then you can rotate that out every month, where this is our restaurant of the month this month. Me and my wife went there. We had the shrimp etouffee, and it was incredible. My daughter laughed when the waitress went around. Tell a little story. Reply back for your chance to win a $50 gift card. Engagement. Now 200 people email you, and 1 person wins, but now you're in these email conversations with the rest of the people, seeing how they're doing. So many things you could do. One more. Oh, he's got a mic. He's got a mic.
On that note, you could also get the restaurant owner in your database.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I did.
There's so much, there's so many things you could do. So many things.
So Ricky, I know you said you did the social media in stages, right? No big on social media. What would you recommend starting out for sellers and neighborhood community?
I think the biggest thing for real estate agents is to get over their self in the fashion of worried about followers and views and likes, because what you have to understand about social media is that it's this massive situation where there's billions of people. But when you look at your local market, you've got tens of thousands of people, maybe hundreds of thousands of people, maybe millions if you're in certain places. But even the places that have millions of people is still so small compared to the internet, right? Compared to how many possible followers there are total. So when you look at people that have, 10 million followers and 1 million followers and 500,000 and 200,000, you got to realize these people are catering to the general public of the world. You're catering to the general public of your local market, which is like so microscopic in terms of the internet, right? So the first thing you have to realize is that for a real estate agent, it's not about, comparing yourself to these people that are getting thousands of likes or views. That's the first thing, is to realize that that's not where it's at. Look at my social media. I get like 1,000 likes a post, something like that, but I can fill up rooms like this anywhere in the country. You understand the influence there, right? If you're getting, 150, 100, 150, 200 likes a picture, you don't realize how influential that actually is in your local market. It's actually very influential, right? So that's the first thing to realize. You got to get your head on right about that, because that'll mess with you. When you compare yourself to other people and stuff, it'll take it to a really bad place. If you can get to a good place there, all right, then I like the restaurant thing and what Keith does, right, in terms of talking to local business people, having videos about that. My aunt is in Birmingham, and she goes and takes pictures of croissants and stuff at a bakery, and she's selling properties off of it, right? She's just posting about, donuts, and people are responding, and she's getting these conversations. She's just a really nice person, and that fits her personality to get business like that. For me, I got to be on the phone like crazy. I can't just post a donut and hope people call me. But she's closing deals, right? So just think media company. Think, letting people know cool things about the area, letting people know cool restaurants, and breaking news, articles and stuff that come up that's, big news for the area. Share that kind of stuff and share your opinions on that stuff. Don't just share the article and post, share it, and then write what you think about it at the top. And then say, hey, comment what you think. Here's what I think about it. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Create some engagement. I'm going to leave you guys with this today. Number one, I love you guys. And I hope you know how much I love you. I want to see you succeed at the highest levels. I'll do anything for you. Reach out to me anytime, day or night. Instagram DM is the best for that. And I want you guys to take everything that I said today to heart. I want you to understand to work the cycles of the market. I want you to understand that 2022 has already begun. Okay? I want you to stop making excuses. Stop being scared of stuff. Stop worrying about things, right? And I want you to listen to your prospects. All right? I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.